My name is Tim Kennedy. My occupation, that's complicated.
He's an exceptional human being, and that's the only type of human being that survives what he survived. If you take a regular person, send them off to war, and expect them to do some of the things that Tim Kennedy has done, they're not going to come back home. You have no idea what that guy's experienced.
Alright, so the ultimate badass we have over here is a guy named Tim Kennedy, who I'm sure most people are somewhat familiar with by now. But if you're not, he's basically this guy who rose to fame after people found out that he was doing tours in Afghanistan while at the same time being a decorated fighter in the UFC. He's pretty much lived the dream life of the average JRE listener. I mean, his life was so cool that he even published a book about it, Scars and Stripes, which instantly became a New York Times bestseller. But as you may know by now, this all came crashing down for Tim last December, when the soldiers and captains who Tim wrote about in his book called him out for lying about most of the stories in Scars and Stripes.
If you're going to write this type of book with these amount of lies, and you're going to have stolen valor, you're going to say you got injured when you didn't, and you say, you know, you should have Purple Hearts when you don't, admitting to war crimes that you didn't even do, that is textbook stolen valor.
Long story short, Tim pretty much lied about most of the stories in his book. I mean, even the title of his book was stolen from a book published in 1975 about a prisoner of war in Vietnam. So after all that, everyone discovered that Tim was just another grifting veteran trying to get a movie made about his life story, which is actually pretty unfortunate since his life story was already extremely impressive as is. But since then, fans have dug up some insane clips of him from when he was doing the press tour for his book. And it turns out that, on top of lying in his book and exaggerating his life stories, he's also an overall weird guy. Like for instance, Tim fantasizes about guys threatening to harm his family just so he can get the green light to go berserk on them.
You know, my grandpa was the greatest generation. My uncles all were in Vietnam. My dad stole planefuls of cocaine from Pablo Escobar. Like, my brother is an FBI bomb tech. My other brother works for Department of Energy protecting nuclear stuff. My other brother's a Green Beret. You know, then I sit down and and then I look at a restaurant and I go, I'm not angry and I'm not thinking about killing everybody in there, but I'm looking around and being like,
I had to.
They're so useless.
Yeah.
They're so useless. What are they going to do if I wanted to?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? But if the table's flipped and they're like, do you know what? I'm going to try to take that dude's 2-year-old daughter. I'm like, first of all, I need to hide this erection because you just made my day. Yeah. I get to protect my family.
And I've been training for this for so long. I thought about this every day.
Every day to go to sleep.
So it seems that Tim's weirdly fixated on this extremely rare scenario of someone threatening to harm him or his relatives. And look, it's not abnormal to be prepared for such an event. And honestly, it's better to be overprepared than underprepared if that nightmare situation, God forbid, were to ever occur. But Tim just goes over the top with this. So much so that you could probably classify him as a doomsday prepper. I mean, just listen to him describe his everyday carry load out to Sean Ryan.
We like to do a EDC pocket dump warm-up.
Okay.
What are you rocking?
I'm pretty straightforward. I think people complicate it. So I'm like a KISS guy, keep it simple, stupid. And so I have my keys, I have my cell phone. I unfortunately carry 2 wallets, a work wallet, and then like my regular wallet. Then I have a small fixed blade. Right now it's a Montana knife, that's the Speed Goat. And then appendix carry a SIG. So
What's on your SIG?
I have a red dot, and I'm using their solid core copper and steel rounds that tumble on impact. They do a great job on penetration against soft body armor. I want to have tourniquets that are going to work for my kids. I want to make sure that I maybe have 2 sets of car keys, one on my wife, one with me.
Like at this point, it seems that Tim is just manifesting some kind of misfortune. It's also hilarious how he says he keeps a set of car keys on his wife, instead of saying, my wife also has keys to our car. But anyways, after seeing this clip go viral, I decided to do a deep dive on his YouTube channel, and I found this one video of him describing what he takes in the car with him on an ordinary family road trip. And even the guest he has on laughs at him. And mind you, that guest is also a doomsday prepping specialist.
Then in this survival bag right here, water purifier right on the top, fix it, 550 cord, tire pressure, VF17 panel, solar panels, emergency blankets, multi-tools. So far between this, what's up there, and here, I think I have 10 tourniquets in this car.
Nice. And you think that's enough?
10 whole tourniquets. You know, just in case there's 10 guys on the side of the road who all have severed arteries at the same time. So yeah, as more and more clips are being dug up from Tim's past, he's quickly becoming the laughingstock of that whole vetfluencer universe. He just has this over-the-top, alpha masculine mentality that's easy to point and laugh at. Like in that Brendan Schaub podcast from before, there's this one point where Tim mentions the various methods he used in the bedroom in order for his wife to birth a baby boy.
No, I mean, I had to get weird to get a boy.
Yeah, you were saying you have a technique.
Would you?
So I don't have I don't own the technique. I did research to find out and there was a plethora of techniques.
Like positions?
Yeah, position. So male swimmers swim faster but don't last as long. So like an ovulation, if you come early in our ovulation, like there's more time for the female swimmers to make it up there.
Which at first seems pretty understandable, since most guys, if they were to pick, would want a baby boy at some point in their lives. But as you'll see shortly, Tim just takes it to the extreme, and it quickly becomes clear that Tim not only wanted to birth a son, but a Spartan warrior.
And then like afterwards, I'm holding my naked wife by the ankles, like shaking her. You're like, come on, get in there, seed, you know?
Holy
I'm not joking.
And then it worked.
And I
got a boy.
Got me a boy.
Does he have your athleticism?
He's a savage.
He is.
Yeah.
How could you not be though?
He looks, the opening scene in The Last of the Mohicans, we were talking about lacrosse.
Yeah.
He plays lacrosse. He's got striations on his shoulders. He's got this V on his back. Already. He has long hair that goes down to the middle of his back. He takes off his lacrosse helmet and it's like matted and tangled from being all sweaty. And he just looks like a savage. That's straight out of The Last of the Mohicans. And he plays hockey. He rides motorcycles.
You won't say it out loud, but like when my son gets out of the pool or he's with his buddies, and I see my son kind of like shredded.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I do say it out loud. Because I look at like the fat dudes with the fat dad bods and I look at their kids that are lame. I'm like,
you guys know what's up.
you know.
Yeah, you know.
Look at my boy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you can be proud of your offspring, but striations, a V taper. The more these clips surface, the more Tim goes from being a highly respected MMA fighter and war veteran to the face of r/first responder cringe. And this cringe has gotten so bad that it's prompted more and more people who fought in war with Tim to come out on podcasts and expose him. Take Tim's former boss from Afghanistan, for example, John Shrek McPhee, aka the Sheriff of Baghdad. If you haven't seen him already, he's been going viral lately for making Joe Rogan shit his pants with some of the stories he has from war.
And 7 Taliban on my ass. You want to see 7 bodies super quick? You know what I'm saying? Bring them boys up here, you know? So I never really understood some of these other stories because I had such a different experience. I can't fathom if I was with 5, the times I was with 5 guys, you know how many people, I was with 3 guys, you know how many people we killed in the Battle of Tora Bora? Hundreds. I just stopped counting on my first day.
And funny enough, one of the most viral stories he told was about the time when he had to put Tim Kennedy in his place and humble him, since Tim was apparently going around the base telling everyone that he could kick all of their asses.
So you did have to tune him up.
Yeah, I put him down in the dirt one day, yeah.
What instigated that?
Man, it just an incessant talking shit about kicking everybody's ass, you know what I mean? And then like one day I was just like, yo, you're going to kick all of our asses. Yeah. All of our asses. Yeah. I was like, yo, meet me at the fucking dojo at midnight. You know what I mean? And then what he didn't know is while he was all poopy out kicking rocks or mad at whatever he was mad at, all the guys are like, yo, I'll be at the dojo. I want a piece of this action. And I'm like, it's easy to fill the dojo that night. And then I was just like, look, we're going to fight in the order of rank. Now, the new guys didn't like it. And I'd say Timmy did well for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 guys. I don't fucking know. I was like, well, this is it. It's got to be on me. And I just made sure in the time I had, I bloodied him up and I made sure he was down. And then all I did is I whispered in his ear, like, I hope we don't have to have this talk again. And I walked out. Me and the guys walked out and left him in there laying on the ground. You know what I mean? But what I tried to teach him was you can't beat us all. This is a team sport. We're a pack. You know what I mean? This is how we work.
It's pretty satisfying to know that Tim Kennedy was already humbled into oblivion while he was deployed. It's just interesting how it didn't really translate to his life as an ordinary citizen.
You know, in the Q course, he was probably the fucking baddest dude in the Q course. And then you come to a place where you're now bottom. That's hard for somebody with high confidence to deal with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think all that is he felt as a new guy is we were trying to keep him down. But what he kind of missed, because he really didn't do any Army time, was this is just the way it works for sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No like malice here. No one wanted to keep Timmy down, you know? And then he got so bad at like talking shit and being poopy that like the commanders, the officers are like, get him under control or we're going to make sure he's out of special forces forever.
But hey, at the end of the day, Tim's not really a bad guy, and he's certainly not as bad as other people I've covered on this channel. He really just says and does goofy stuff. And after taking a quick look at his YouTube channel, it seems that he does more good for the community than bad. But on that note, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Do let me know what you think of Tim Kennedy in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching.